Bro, what's the bet?
Welcome to week number one. Darren's complaining about the background. But I'll tell you what he's not complaining about is the weekend of college football we just had. Care to say anything about that?
I love college football.
Bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I lost every bet this weekend.
Hey, you remember what we said last episode about it's time to lose a lot of money?
Hey, I did just that.
You got to think about it, like with how accurate we were, and we still didn't come out on top. But we're just gonna do it again next week. So
Exactly. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. And I'll tell you one thing that I did hear on the last episode that we said, and they deserve some respect. We said Michigan couldn't score 50 points if their life depended on it.
no. You said that.
Okay, you said they wouldn't score it against Colorado State.
I did.
Yes, you did. But they did have two defensive touchdowns. So did they really score 50?
No, not in my book. If
Not
the
in my
offense, I mean the offense. Like we had two offenses.
Right.
How many? I say two. We had two in the same game put up 60. But like I don't know if you're ranked, if you're a top tier team like Michigan, the offense worries me. Even Georgia offense almost put up 50,
Right.
and everyone was so worried about the offense. We'll talk about it when we get there. I don't want.
Yes, we will. But we're going to do a rundown of the top 25. We're going to have performers of the week, team best and team worst performances of the week. The offense is taken out of some of these teams, literally, and kind of embarrassing. But if you're a quarterback, it's not good. It's not a good week to be on Darren's radar because you remember what happened with Peasley last week, and I
Yeah.
would just
Hey. We made our picks on that game. We'll get to that too. I got some worries for him, but do you want to? Where do you
I
want
got
to?
us. We'll start with the top 25. BYU travels to South Florida, puts up 28 in the first quarter, and rolls from there. Wins 50-21. Top performer was BYU's quarterback. The running back and the quarterback went crazy. 261 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. And Brooks, the running back, went 13 carries, 135 yards, 1 touchdown. BYU looked just as good as they
Yeah,
have.
kind of just expected that. I mean, it's BYU. I'm pretty sure that was that. This was in our picks, huh?
It was.
Oh yeah, if you wanna, you can tie in the picks too. Like
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll do that. But BYU, I mean, the score looks a little closer than it was. I mean, they put up 28 in the first half or 38 in the first half. So I mean, I think they kind of just played kind of some second string guys in the second half, let everybody else get some work. Probably why they gave up 3 touchdowns. This BYU offense is looking better than I thought they were going to be. So I'm
yeah,
excited.
they surprised me. I felt like they'd be effective, but 28 in the first quarter is like
That's tough.
no, yeah.
24th, one of the games of the week, honestly. Houston goes to UTSA and wins a double overtime game.
Double or I think it was triple. I think this one was triple.
Oh, yeah, triple overtime. Triple overtime game. Heck of a game. Final score 37-35. UTSA's quarterback was the top performer according to ESPN. He threw for 337 with 3 touchdowns. They had the best rusher, passer, and receiver, and they lost.
Yeah. I said, coming into the game, UTSA could definitely pull that one out. And they made it interesting. So I would say, I don't want to take any slight to Houston. Houston performed. They came out, battled a really good team, and they won. I think this says more about UTSA though than
He
Houston.
does. UTSA is going to be really good. I think both teams are really good for Group of 5. I could see them both making like decent bowl games this year, no matter what.
Yeah.
We both picked Houston. We both got it right. Ole Miss and Troy. Ole Miss played bad. They played really bad.
Definitely disappointed me.
Very disappointing. I'm not as high on them. Maybe they'll come out next week with a better performance, but they won 28-10 against Troy. Granted, I think they had a lightning delay, so there are lots of delays this weekend in football.
I don't have too much to like touch on this. I mean, we knew Ole Miss would win, but like 28-10.
And I don't care. I still will hug Mickey Mouse anytime. You never grow up in Disney World. Look at us. We're a potato head.
I'm sorry about that.
You're just gonna cut me off.
I'm sorry. That was my stupid ESPN.
Anyway, I mean, we knew Ole Miss would win, but they just didn't like win as much as I would have expected, basically. So
the offense just really didn't perform as up to their potential, I feel like.
Yeah.
We didn't pick that game. Next game was Kentucky and Miami, Ohio. Kentucky didn't have their start running back. The final score was 37-13. You can't complain about that if you're Kentucky because you just can't. Will Levis went absolutely dummy mode and threw for 303, 3 touchdowns. He had some rushing to top off that. That was an obvious pick. Me and Darren both picked that one, got it right. Next game was the first top 25 matchup that we're going to cover is Arkansas hosts Cincinnati for a thriller, 31-24, big time victory for the Hogs.
Yeah, this was a great game. Like just a great game in general. We both picked Arkansas. I think Cincinnati played a little bit better than I expected, though. I'll give them that. I kind of expected it to be like 14-ish, but they kept it within a touchdown. So, but I mean, this game kind of went how I expected it. Arkansas would just run it out. KJ Jefferson had a great game, better than I kind of expected him to play. He just kind of controlled the game himself, really.
Like I said, I said in the last string, I said it's going to be based off of how Jefferson plays. I mean, if he goes, they're going to go. Mm-hmm. He's going to have to run the ball, I thought. And he did for 62 yards, but he was very impressive in the passing game, I think, more than anything. I will tell you, Cincinnati, this says a lot about – kind of says more about them than Arkansas to me because they lost so much talent. They lost a 4-year starter at quarterback, and yet they still took him to the wire. And Ben Bryant, new starting quarterback, threw for 325 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm Cincinnati, I'm exhilarated with this performance. Yes, that's probably going to injure CFB playoff hope, but you didn't have much. And as far as good season goes, I think you're really excited. As long as the quarterback play stays that way, I think you win a lot of football games.
Yeah, I mean, and going into Arkansas, to mention, like, right. That's not a SEC team. We got to think that this is the most dominant, this is the most dominant conference in football by far. So, and you know how SEC fans are about. Oh, come on.
Bro, I don't know why it keeps playing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry, guys. That's disrespectful. Please forgive me.
You know how SEC fans are about football. A lot more passionate. It's not a friendly environment. And they came out and performed. I could definitely see this team, like, if we're talking performance-based, they looked better than Houston in their respective matchups. So, but then again, it is just week 1. I don't want to put a ton of stock into that. But if Cincinnati can keep the same level of play, I'd probably stand by what I predicted and have them winning the AAC.
Yeah, we both picked Arkansas, so no differential there. I'm trying to find the next game. He done screwed me up.
I got you.
18, number 18, Wisconsin host Illinois State. Not much to talk about there. Wisconsin dominates 38-0. They don't score a lot of points, so that's a big victory. There's nothing to hang your head about there. Next game was a little surprising. I mean, not necessarily surprising because they were going to win. They were going to win by a large margin. But Miami put up 70 points, 70-13. Now, granted, probably anybody in the top 25 could score 70 on Bethune-Cookman. But, I mean, if I'm Miami, I'm kind of excited about the offense just because they showed offense that they hadn't had in a while. But somehow Bethune-Cookman had the highest passer. I don't ask. But what's his name? Parrish Jr. had 108 yards, 3 touchdowns for Miami rushing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull everything up here myself. I mean, 73 is not easy to score in a game, though. So I'm gonna give Miami what they deserve. I didn't know Bethune-Cookman actually had a team, to be honest.
It went by there the other day, honestly.
Where are they from?
Florida, somewhere in Florida. I can't remember where I was at. I want to say near Orlando.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I mean, there's not much to really talk about here. Next.
No, there's not. USC, brand new program, brand new coaching staff, brand new football team. Puts it on Rice. The offense was as dominant as we expected. 66-14. Caleb Williams went dummy mode. Addison had a receiving touchdown on the first drive from transfer quarterback to transfer receiver, under transfer coach, transfer. Let's just get transfer uniforms, transfer mascot. Let's do it all. I mean, we may as well call them the transfer team.
Look, you can say all you want about the transfer. You still got to go out and perform. I know it's only Rice, but they performed.
They did.
I'm gonna give them their props. You know, I had USC as a dark horse to make the playoff, and I still stand by that.
Stands by it. You heard it there first. Did we pick that game?
Probably not.
Nah. Next was this was one of our trap games of the week. NC State goes to East Carolina and wins on a last-second missed extra point by East Carolina. The second one they missed today or that day.
Yeah, this.
NC State, what are we doing? Okay, I understand UNC playing with App State to the wire. That doesn't concern me. I knew that. I picked App State. NC State, I expected this to be like kind of a close game because they're at East Carolina. It's kind of weird. But 1 point.
If you ask me, NC State should have lost.
They should have.
Because not only did East Carolina, I don't know if this is what you were talking about just then. East Carolina missed the extra point, and then end of the game they had a 41-yarder to win, and he missed it too. East Carolina definitely should have won this game.
Yep.
They had every opportunity to, and they couldn't. I mean, I guess they're not ready. You know, they're not ready. And I didn't think East Carolina was going to even keep this very close. I would have thought 3 touchdowns probably.
Yeah, East Carolina, if you're their kicker, sorry, bro.
Now you gotta go. If we're talking about worst performers of the week, you gotta go.
Yeah, stop telling everybody in class that you're on the football team. Stop telling everybody you know. Call your family, tell them you're done, come back home, or you like to kick, go play soccer. But football is just, I mean, you just missed too many field goals.
The whole special team, because NC State scored a touchdown off of a blocked punt.
Honestly, this was granted. Wait till we talk about LSU. One of the worst special teams play of the week.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, okay, so yeah, he missed an extra point, missed the field goal, and then they gave up the blocked kick.
Right.
So I think we know what they're working on in practice. How to kick the ball.
Yes, you may want to do that, or find somebody off the soccer team, replace him on the soccer team, and maybe you'll find a new kicker.
Yeah, maybe get like a one of the forwards,
Right.
Maybe.
Striker. Let's get a striker out there.
Out a little bit, because man, this is rough.
Yes.
I mean, because this win could have been so big for them. Like, and that East Carolina is are they AAC as well?
East Carolina is AAC.
They could have like had something here.
They could have.
But
I'd like to apologize. The order that my ESPN was on, I missed 4 ranked teams so far, so we'll go back and cover them.
I was about to say,
Yeah, I was wondering where they went. I forgot they played on Thursday. The first one, Wake Forest hosts VMI. Not much to talk about there. Sam
Hartman.
Hartman didn't play. They won 44-10. Beat VMI. Not much to talk about there. Michigan State hosted Western Michigan. Little bit closer than I would have liked, because it got to 21-13 at one point. Pulled away in the end, 135-13. Little worried about that Michigan State performance, but we know you don't know what you're going to get with the MAC. I mean, you're playing a MAC team, and it's MACtion, baby, and it's not a Saturday. Oh, you're in for disaster if you're playing a MAC team on any other day than Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this new Western Michigan team losing Caleb Ellaby and Sky Moore. Did they perform like decent? But I'm really worried about their future though. Like from an offensive standpoint, because they played solid defense.
I feel like Michigan State's defense is nothing to call home about. So, like, I feel like they should have put up more points. And I feel like Michigan State should have too. I'm not giving Michigan State a ton of credit, because I feel like it should have been more of a 49-28 or 49-24 game. I'm a little worried about the 13 points.
Yeah, I agree. I think Michigan State definitely, like, it's not like they played terrible, really. They just didn't outshine the expectations, which, I mean, Western Michigan is no slouch defensively.
They're not.
I mean, neither is Michigan State, but
And quarterback Peyton Thorne did throw for 4 touchdowns, 233 yards for Michigan State. So, I mean, you can't be mad about the offensive performance, honestly.
no. I mean, you can't, not against a team like Western Michigan, but
And Berger had 120 yards, 1 touchdown.
he did.
Good for him.
Not to mention, I had Broussard. Shout out to Broussard. 54 yards, I think.
One of the games of the week was next. West Virginia, Pittsburgh on Thursday night, the backyard brawl. It was a fantastic game. New transfer quarterback for Pitt, Keaton Slovis. New transfer quarterback for West Virginia, JT Daniels. Go at it. Keaton Slovis already said he does not like West Virginia. He said that. What did he do? He kind of backed it up. He played pretty good. I would be happy with that. 308, 1 touchdown. Pittsburgh, you have nothing to hang your heads about. I know it was a close game against a West Virginia team that may not be very good, but it's a rivalry. Week 1, Thursday night, first exciting game of the year. No offense to Nebraska and Northwestern. But there's going to be nerves. It's week 1. The real test comes this week for Pitt. But as far as this game goes, I was excited to see Pitt's offense play like they did.
I was excited to see Pitt's defense play how they did. The late pick six, they forced 2 fumbles.
The pick 6 was lucky. Did you see it?
I did see it, but I mean, it's just like,
right. It happened.
Yeah, and I mean, like you don't practice that, but that's just like a team, like
They actually do practice the tip drill, so
they do. Okay, they practice the tip drill, but I'm saying like it's you don't like what I'm saying, right?
Yes. JT Daniels, bless his heart, he was sacked 7 times or so. I don't know how many the exact number was. It felt like 7. Probably wasn't.
I see 3.
3?
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a lot of tackle for losses. Maybe they were just runs. But that man got obliterated. He played phenomenal to me. The pick wasn't on him. I feel like he would have drove them down there to score had they not tipped that ball up. Pitt's defense was good, but I need to see more depth. I feel like they got very tired late.
Yeah. West Virginia looked better than I expected. I can't lie.
Yeah, they did. And maybe they'll be good.
Who's the guy? Donaldson? Lord. If they learn how to like
Use him
in like a more receiving way, not just like running the ball with him.
He's a tight end, it says.
I know. He didn't have a target. If
oh my God, that was 7 carries. Why is the tight end getting the ball that much?
Only 7 carries, and he was their most effective player.
Maybe they just don't have him listed as a running back. He's got to be a running back.
I hope so, because it says he's a tight end.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
Guy's a true freshman.
That boy from West Virginia, the wide receiver, Ford Wheaton.
Yeah, he went crazy too.
He's nasty. But that was one of the games of the week. 38-31, Pittsburgh wins. The pick 6 gets the pick 6 takes the lead. It was 31-31. West Virginia had the ball. Pick 6, Pitt, clutch pick 6. And they go on to take the victory. Now we're back in order. We just said NC State before we went through those 3. Now we got number 12, Oklahoma State hosts Central Michigan. Hang on. They won 58-44.
They did. This game, before you kill Oklahoma State, let me do it, because I know you're going to be hard on them. Just because the score was 58-44,
They gave up 23 in the fourth quarter.
Right. So it's not as bad as it looks. Now, I'm not trying to defend Oklahoma State, but they had the game wrapped up. Like at halftime, it was
like
44-15.
Right.
So take from that what you will. I give Oklahoma State the props because they were killing them. I think they might have got a little lazy toward the end. Central Michigan kept the starters in. I'm not exactly sure if Oklahoma State did or not, but
dang, Oklahoma State's quarterback threw for 6 tutties.
And he ran for, I want to say he ran for 2 as well, I believe. Can you check that? Did he run for 2 also?
Hang on. I do know that Central Michigan's quarterback also threw for 424 and ran for 4 tutties. Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State quarterback, went for 406 yards, 4 tutties through the air. He ran for 2 tutties, 57 yards. Man had the game of his life. He did not throw for 6. He threw for 4. It was 6 total. Excuse me.
Yeah, he had a great game, and a lot of that was first quarter stuff or first half stuff.
It was good for him. Oklahoma State, your offense looks amazing. Let's clean up some mental and some lackluster performances in the end, and I think we're gonna have a good season.
Yeah, I like what they did. And Central Michigan's no slouch either. Let's be honest here.
Hey, they're my conference champ. I'm not gonna slap on anything on them.
Yeah, they're up there. They're not my conference champ, but they're definitely up there in the MAC. So
I think that offense that might win on the MAC as long as they stay away from the stupid losses. Baylor hosts Albany, however you want to say it. Not much to talk about. Won 69-10. Not much to talk about there at all.
no.
UTEP goes into Oklahoma. Oklahoma, new head coach, new quarterback. Impressed me. I'm not gonna lie. They impressed me. I was happy to see Dylan Gabriel have a good game, and Eric Gray impressed me. I'm excited to see him have a.
Is that your brother?
Yeah, it is my brother.
Your brother Eric?
Yeah, it's down the ways a little bit, but he's.
Yeah, I can feel the resemblance a little bit.
Yeah, well, I've got that a lot, especially when he was at Tennessee. You know, we weren't far.
Right,
yeah. A few hours away.
Mm-hmm.
Had several calls about it. Thought we were twins, but had to.
So you didn't get recruited though, like just off the family, or?
It was kind of hard for me to get recruited because he just overshined me in high school.
Okay.
He was playing quarterback and running back. They played with 10 players.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't let me play.
Right. I get it. No, I understand.
Yeah, so
It happened.
So I was proud of him though. Going to Oklahoma as a family, we were excited. And he dominated. So, that's what he does. Next up, Michigan. They scored 50 points, 51-7. Colorado State almost pulled it out in the end. Just playing. Michigan played good.
He did score.
They did score a touchdown. Passing touchdown.
And they kept the starters in the whole game. So shout out to Colorado State.
Hey, good job, y'all boys. Y'all got paid and y'all scored a touchdown. Congratulations.
Oh, they get paid, yeah. Good for them.
Hey, if they play Colorado, they may have a shot this year.
I think they do.
I'm sure they do. I think it's a rivalry game, yeah. Florida and Utah.
Oh, here we go.
Big time upset here. Big time quarterback play here. I don't know if you can recall the clip, but I debated on picking Florida for like 5 minutes. And I said, you know what? I'll be safe and I'll go Utah just in case. And I should have went Florida because Utah was defeated in their first game starting out the season as a top 10 team. They lost to Florida 29-26. Driving at the end to take the lead and win it, throws a pick instead of just running it, kick a field goal, and going to overtime. Costly.
We both picked Utah, as you talked about. I was a lot more confident in Utah, I think. It wasn't so much that they were much better. I just feel like they were more like stable. Florida has a lot of turnover from last year. New starting quarterback, new running back, new receiving core, But overall, the defense showed out. The offense did what it needed to do against a great, or at least what we think is to be a great Utah secondary and line. So, I mean, I got to give all my props to Florida. I hate doing it, but they beat Utah. So
I'm excited to see that offense. I feel like Anthony Richardson, baller. But have you seen the video they took last night on ESPN? And they took, Florida's running back's Trevor Etienne, right?
Okay.
That's Travis's little brother. And anyway, they took the comparison and of the two running on similar plays, and bro, they are so much alike. And just as far as you remember, the burst of speed that Travis had.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor has that same kind of burst of speed. Hate that my Tigers couldn't get him, but he wanted to run. He wanted to have his own path. I respect that. Good for him. Looks like he chose a good offense. Let's see what Florida can do. Put him in the top 25 this week. New coach Billy Napier. I'm excited to see where this program goes. When Florida and Florida State are good, college football's better. As much as it sucks to say, I don't like Florida State. I don't care for Florida, but when those two are good and Miami's good, football's better.
It almost adds because I will say this, and this is no shot at Florida State fans. Y'all are the most delusional, and that's just from a bias standpoint because I'm a Georgia fan. Y'all are a little delusional, because when your team is solid, y'all think you have a top 5 team out of that, which I hate to break it. Florida is not a top 5 team. Florida State is not a top 5 team, and I don't think Miami is either.
They're not.
But it is interesting because it almost adds in the NBA, how there's all the fans who ride for LeBron to the Lakers fans is what I'm referring to. They're delusional.
Right.
Just because you have one of the best players of all time, you think you have the best team ever. So, and college football fans, Florida State are mainly those two. They're both like that. So
they are, and but I will tell you that it helps out both of our teams when they're good because that's good wins.
That's true. Yep.
So, and Clemson plays Miami too this year. So Florida State and Miami could really help out if they're decent. And Georgia needs that help from Florida. They need them to be undefeated when they play them.
Especially now. Especially now.
Right.
We'll touch on that later, but
so A&M hosts Sam Houston State. They win 31-0. You can't complain about a shutout, but here's my problem. I just don't think they're the number 6 team in the country. I think that they're overhyped, and I feel like they're going to lose the first test they have.
I do too. I think the offense didn't perform, and there was a big delay in this game.
There was a long delay.
So guys probably just got a little, just wanted
pitcher couldn't come back out. So
yeah, Haynes King did throw 2 picks against Sam Houston State, which is kind of concerning. But again, defense did what we expected. So I'm not really worried about the defense, but I am worried about the offense. They're gonna have to clean some stuff up.
Right. So nothing to be. I guess it's nothing to be scared about, but I would just be a little worried if I was Texas A&M. I go into the next week. I don't know who they have next week, but I'd be a little worried. Next up. Georgia. I write for my local newspaper, and my article was named "Georgia Plucks the Ducks." And did they do that? Because oh my, the offense was a concern. It's not concerned anymore. I thought they looked really good. I thought Stetson was poised, and I know one thing. Oregon, you flew halfway. You flew across the whole country to score 3 points. Someone said the only touchdown they had was the plane.
Oh wow, yeah. I don't want to give a biased standpoint. Georgia,
I'll give you 2 points if you'll go ahead.
They came out performed. Bo Nix definitely is going to have PTSD when he graduates because, man,
he just throws balls against Georgia that are just obvious no throws.
He's
First and
probably- I want to say he's probably thrown
probably 8.
more interceptions to Georgia in his college career
And they
than
touched
he
him.
did to his own receivers at Oregon. Last,
Listen.
it's got to be close.
It's got to be close. He was 1st and 10, 7-0. They were driving the ball. They were at midfield. He throws a 40-yard jump ball that was the receiver had no leverage on the cornerback. What's a great play by the cornerback, not knocking that, because he had to make a great play to pick it. But it was a horrible decision. It's 7-0. Why are you going deep? You know their secondary is good. You know your receiver is not as good as their cornerback. And the freshman picks you off 14-0 after that because they weren't going to stop them. Because I don't think their defense could have stopped me and you playing. Stetson looked like Peyton Manning.
He did.
He threw for 368. Okay, excuse me. No Stetson Bennett slander. He's a great quarterback. But if you let a game manager like Stetson Bennett throw for 368 on you,
He might not look. I don't want to say anything crazy at this point because here's what makes me think it's different. They were blowing them out the whole game, and they never stopped throwing it.
they couldn't because they had to work on it, but it got so bad so quick they had to leave him in the whole game.
No, I mean for Georgia,
Oh,
they didn't stop throwing it.
that's
They were
what
blowing it out.
that's what I mean. They were
What-
trying to work on their offense and fill
Yeah,
out
yeah.
their questions, and it got so bad so fast that they had to keep playing them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That he might not just have to be a game manager.
He may
Because-
not.
I mean, the run game looked solid as well. McIntosh, Milton both had great games, in my opinion, especially through the air. But I want to talk about the run. The run was very efficient when it needed to be.
It was two things that worries me, but not really. Stetson running the ball against a good defense and getting hit some, I don't love that because he's kind of smaller. I don't love him getting tore up a bunch. I'd rather him stay in the pocket and throw the ball, roll out and throw it away. But the running backs, they're good. I mean, they're good running backs. I worry that they don't have that power back, but I mean, that comes in time. We'll see what happens. They have a big-time freshman. He may fill that role. It's a lot of questions still because I feel like they couldn't fill out a ton of questions besides their offense being good. Two things for me. Georgia, they're top three team in the country. Oregon, may not win 6 games.
Really?
Bro, honestly, unless that freshman quarterback comes in and has an amazing season, it's going to be hard for them to win because they won't stop a soul. Granted, they're in the Pac-12. Let me take that back. They'll win 8 games.
Okay.
They'll win 8 games. I forget they're in the Pac-12 so bad.
Yeah, that's
But-
what I was basing on. Because, I mean, no team in the Pac-12 is even close to Georgia if we're going just off athletic standpoint.
USC could play with them for a while, but they couldn't stop them just because their defense isn't good, probably.
Yeah, USC would be – I forgot about USC. They're definitely close, but I would still take Georgia very slightly.
Yeah. One thing I'd like to say, we're going to touch on this at the end. I forgot this happened. College Football Playoff Committee announced they're going to go to a 12-team playoff. I hate this. You see why I hate this. Now, I don't think Oregon's the 11th best team in the country. But number 3 versus number 11 won't happen.
You're right, yeah.
I think you can make 2 arguments here, though, that Oregon's probably not the 11th best team in the country at all.
I don't think so.
And the 11th seed probably doesn't beat the 6th seed. So we may never see a matchup like that. But it can happen. So we'll see. We'll touch on that at the end. How we feel. Next game was the biggest game of the week. Ohio State beats Notre Dame 21-10. Notre Dame led for a majority of the game, gave it up in the fourth quarter. They gave up the lead in third quarter, and then Ohio State finished it off in the fourth quarter with another touchdown. Ohio State, I got two things here again. Notre Dame, both were kind of underwhelming for me. I feel like Notre Dame's not as good as we expected them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Ohio State just had some week one, they just didn't play up to their potential. I feel like Ohio State's the top 4 team in the country, and I feel like Notre Dame's not a top. They're top 15. I don't know that they're top 10.
Okay.
I feel like they play around in the 11 through 15 role a lot better. I'm not big on Notre Dame. Their offense was not good. The quarterback's not good.
I agree with that. I would say the fact that they couldn't score on Ohio State's defense is
Right.
the one thing that worries me. And Ohio State, your top receiver gets hurt. You kind of go into panic mode. So I think it was also some of that. But I mean, outside of that, I think, get your guys healthy. And they going into week one against, I would say Notre Dame is a top defense.
Right. I think their defense is really good.
Yeah.
Ohio State defensively, you have to be excited. Even though Notre Dame's offense is probably not going to be very good, as an Ohio State defense that has not been very good as of recent, you got to be excited about that performance. Top 5 team comes into town, you give up 10 points. I like it. You probably don't give up 3 of those points if you don't give up a busted play on the first play of the game and they go 60 yards. So, I mean, here's Notre Dame really concerns me. Here's the reason. Here's why. Because they play Clemson and USC. And if you don't think for a second that Clemson's defense is way better than Ohio State's defense, you're crazy. And Notre Dame's not going to be able to score on Clemson, and they're not going to be able to score with USC, I don't think.
All right.
So
I could see that one being tight. I'm not going to.
No, I'm not saying it ain't going to be tight. I don't think they can, in the end, their offense is going to be good enough to win that game. And by the end, they may have found some answers. But I don't know. I think Notre Dame goes 9-3, 10-2, and plays maybe in a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah,
I know you're big on the Irish. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not. I'm actually not. I'm not like huge. I was just thinking if they pull one of those out, they make it in. I think they can. It's too early to tell, so I'm gonna hold off saying I think they could beat USC.
I think they can too.
I think
But
they can. And then Clemson, I have to see Clemson play. We haven't even seen Clemson play yet.
Right. So,
my thoughts on that.
Yeah, Notre Dame has a tough schedule though, and starting out with a loss week 1 kind of scares me for them.
I mean, we knew they were going to lose this game though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I feel like their CFB playoff hopes are kind of hanging in the rafters because they have a tough schedule, probably one of the tougher ones in the country. That's all I mean. Number 1, what?
They do, yeah, I agree.
Number 1, Alabama plays Utah State. Darren's Utah State. Darren's favorite team ever. Darren's Jordan Love wannabes. 55-0. Doesn't even score a touchdown. The same team that barely beat UConn last week. Darren is exhilarated about their season for whatever reason.
No, I'm a bit worried now. They are terrible. Utah State is terrible. They're not. I know I made my prediction. Didn't I? I had them winning the Mountain West, right?
You did. And I'm just going to say, I don't remember who I went with, but I'm a little worried about whoever it was because I think it's bad.
I got to see.
Go tell me who I picked.
I have to see this because there's no way Utah State wins unless they like revamp the whole offense mid-season. This team is terrible. Like, sorry, I'm trying to find this here.
I'll run through. Oh, we got to talk about some other games that were not top 25. The most exciting game of the week, the highest scoring game of the week, UNC beats App State at App State 63-61. Failed last minute 2 conversion. This wasn't even an overtime game.
No,
This game was 63-61 in regulation.
yeah, no, this was, in my opinion, this was game of the week. If we're just talking about from a
I agree.
excitement standpoint, back and forth, anything could happen. You never know. The game last night was up there as well, probably neck and neck. But I'm a fan of offense. I like to see points being scored. I know this was the most points scored in a UNC game in history. Like combined, obviously. And I'm sure this is probably the most in App State history.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I would have liked to see App State pull it out for my own picks' sake. Unfortunately, they didn't. But I think, the fact that they could score with a UNC team who I feel like always has a super good offense says something good about App State.
I think so too. I think Chase Bryce had a great. Oh my God,
Turning your squad into a car wash. Weird flex. Turning your squad.
Bro, I knew that was going to happen just as soon as I started talking. Penn State goes to Purdue. Last second touchdown to take the victory. Darren's Purdue Boilermakers are defeated in week 1. I don't think we should dive too deep into this. Penn State had spotty offenses at times. They scored 21 in the second quarter and 14 in the fourth quarter. Didn't score in the first and third. Clifford did get hurt in the middle of the game, but he came back. Little worried about Penn State, even though they did win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. Like,
you can't, especially when we tell you Darren's next mistake.
Go ahead. Just go. I don't want to talk about Purdue. Go ahead.
Okay. Darren picked Illinois. Illinois versus Indiana in Indiana. Indiana with a last-second touchdown, just like Penn State, to beat Illinois 23-20.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. You couldn't pay me to pick Indiana ever. Like, Illinois riding high off of a blowout win in Wyoming. How do you lose that? And we'll touch on Wyoming. You want to just segue that into the next 3-point loss that I had? Go ahead.
Yes.
We both had it, but I mean, just keep proving my point. Go ahead.
I'm trying to find it right now. Wyoming is where are they at, dude? I just saw them.
I got it.
Your friends are still building
I'm finna kill myself.
You've already booked a balloon foliage.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to say that. Bro, no one report me.
No.
I'm not actually going to kill myself.
Anyways, let's transition to this. I had suicidal tendencies after what I had to see against Tulsa and Wyoming. Wyoming in double overtime. Who even thought Wyoming would? I don't even know what to say. Andrew Peasley
went
He
crazy.
must have watched the podcast. He must have watched the episode.
He had to have watched the podcast because he was mad.
Too much motivation to just prove me wrong. Score 41 on Tulsa. Not saying Tulsa's like a world beater or anything, but it's Wyoming's offense. I can't name the last time Wyoming threw for more than 2 touchdowns in a game. And this was with Levi Williams, who's actually good. Also at Utah State now, by the way, and he's not the starter for some reason.
Doesn't make any sense.
Wyoming, I don't know. Me and Wyoming I can tell this is going to be an ongoing trend with me and Wyoming throughout the year.
It's going to be off and on. You're going to pick them one week, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to not.
That's what this is going to be. I can tell.
And This week in the picks, we ran down most of them. I had the most wins this week. I gained 2 games on Darren and took the lead. Well, hang on. We both got the game wrong last night. I'm now after week 2. Or well, we got to see. We both picked Clemson, so as long as Clemson wins, we'll both gain a game. So far, I'm 27-10. Darren's 26-11. Pretty good week for me. I can't be mad. I was pretty excited. My biggest games were the Penn State and the Indiana. But I also had someone else. Hang on.
I'm trying to.
Oh, Oregon State. Oregon State over Boise State. That was a big one for me. I read up a lot on Oregon State, and I was confident. I'm glad I went with them.
Boise pulled their quarterback midway.
Had
so
to.
you don't love to see that.
Oregon State's defense was too good.
Or he threw 2 picks, and ended with like 30 yards passing. The backup came in and performed though, so maybe Boise State might be in the midst of a little quarterback change, which I wouldn't hate to see it because the other guy looked much better, at least against Oregon State. But I did get that one wrong pretty bad. I can't lie.
Yeah. We're going to go with we got 10 minutes left on the pod. Let's finish up with our performers of the week. We got one top performer for us and then 2 honorable mentions. Darren, go with your main one.
My main guy?
Your main guy.
So my main guy, we kind of alluded to it earlier. But Drake May, UNC quarterback, just any guy who leads a shootout like that controls the game. Against the App State is a good defense. They gave up 60 points, which it's hard to say they're a good defense.
They're good defense for the Sun Belt.
Good defense for the Sun Belt. Normally, at least. Normally they are. But Drake May, 24 of 35. 352 yards and 4 touchdowns in the air. He also ran 12 times for 76 yards and a touchdown on the ground. So he's
in the Heisman conversation so far.
Is he? Or was that
to me? That's a Justin Tate.
I mean,
segue that into my top performer, also dual threat. Anthony Richardson, not as great passing. He went 168 through the air, not a touchdown, but had 106 rushing yards with 3 tutties on the ground.
New Lamar Jackson?
He's bigger.
New Heisman? There's a Heisman candidate, Lamar Jackson Jr.
That's right. He's bigger than Lamar, too. That's what's so scary. So then we had honorable mention for me, Chase Bryce from App State. Great job. They lost, but I mean, you score 61 points, you don't expect to lose. He threw for 361 with 6 tutties. Good job. And your honorable mentions?
So my first one is going to be from a lower tier college, from James Madison, right down the street. We have receiver by the name of Chris Thornton. If you don't know about him, you might find out now. 12 catches, 155 yards, and 3 touchdowns in a blowout win over Middle Tennessee, their first game in the FBS, in the Sun Belt.
Turning your squad into a car wash.
That's it. I'm about to kill it.
Flex. Turning
All
your
right,
squad
that's out of there. That's out of there. No more words. No more words.
You know, if you right click on the tab, it says mute site on it.
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for telling me that. 50 minutes.
I just had to see how long it would take you. Anyway, but yeah, he's my and then the quarterback there is well, Todd Centeio, Centeio. Not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Colorado State transfer. 287 and 6 touchdowns. So you can kind of both of them are kind of my second honorable mention, or my
Gotcha.
first. Yeah.
My other honorable mention is Jaden DeLara from Arizona, as he went for 299 yards and 4 tutties through the air, and he did not run for anything. But I mean, Arizona surprised a lot of people. We didn't touch on that. San Diego State was a big time underwhelmer. That's going to lead me into my worst performer of the week.
Wait. Let me get my honorable mention.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you already did both.
All right. Yeah. No. My last one is Will Rogers from Mississippi State. Dominated Memphis, which I mean, Memphis is not a great defense either, but 450 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns. Just very solid. We know what Mississippi State does. They throw the ball, and they threw it very well. All right, you got it.
Okay. Worst player performer of the week, Braxton Burmeister. What is wrong with you, man? I am you away from winning $40. And guess what you did? You let me down. 51 passing yards against a horrible Arizona defense. You looked embarrassing. You are worse than Andrew Peasley or whatever his name is. You are a failure. San Diego State should have never accepted you ever. And you should have stayed at Virginia Tech, who lost to Old Dominion. By the way, Old Dominion, who I told you was good. So Burmeister, either fix it like Peasley did, or you got to go. You're my worst performer of the week. Listen to this and get some motivation, just like Peasley did with Bragg. And I promise you it'll help you out if you listen to this. No matter how much I slander your name, you were solid at Virginia Tech. I picked you to go over 190 passing yards. You went for 51. I lost money. You can send me my $2 back if you feel bad. I mean, it's up to you. But that's it. I'm done with him.
Okay. Yeah. My worst performer of the week is from the Virginia Tech and Old Dominion game. Virginia Tech's quarterback Grant Wells. 4 interceptions to Old Dominion.
What are we doing?
What are we doing here? Like, this Virginia Tech is a solid squad every year. Like, I knew the game would be semi-close because they're on the road. It's a semi-decent team in ODU. They performed amazing toward the end of last year. But I'd be lying if I thought they were actually going to win. I thought Virginia Tech would hold on, but Grant Wells, who I thought was great, he's from West Virginia, not too far away from VT.
Right.
4 interceptions.
Yeah, Darren, if you can recall, college football prediction show, Darren said, I said, look out for Old Dominion. And Darren said, bro, name one player off Old Dominion. And I said, me. That's all they needed was me to believe in them. I'm their biggest player. That's all they needed. And so congrats to ODU. You took down Virginia Tech for the second time in the last 6 years, I think. And they're not going to want to put you on the schedule anymore, and I don't blame them. So good kudos to you. Keep putting up good performances, and good things will happen. I believe in you. You know that. I'm going to go speak for the pod, and we both believe in you now. And go ODU.
Do they beat East Carolina next week?
Yes, they do.
On the road?
Yes, they do. That defense looks good.
East Carolina's favored by 13.
I don't care if they're favored by 40.
Okay.
Give me the Monarchs. Worst team performance of the week. This one for me is going to a team that won. This one for me is hard. Families, parents, siblings, talk to your kids and tell them never to watch an Iowa football game. Never to pay money to watch a football game in Iowa. Iowa, you are embarrassing. 7-3 over, was it South Dakota State or South Dakota?
It was
South Dakota State.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
7-3. You didn't. Don't let that fool you. No touchdowns.
Hmm.
2 safeties and a field goal. You won 7-3 against an FCS opponent. What are we doing, Iowa? What are we doing?
They're not scoring. I know what they're not doing.
They're not scoring. None.
Yeah, my worst performer is also going to a winner. San Jose State. I mean, I feel like we always look at San Jose State, and they're like, oh yeah, they're a solid team. A team always competing for the Mountain West title.
Right. I agree.
So I was about to say Mountain West. Wow. I'm kind of speaking on behalf of the Mountain West. If this is who you got,
Representing.
exactly. San Jose State played Portland State. I didn't even know Portland State was a school. Sorry, Portland State, but I'd never heard of y'all. San Jose State won 21-17. What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Like, and the thing is, I know some guys off San Jose State. Like, they have Chevin Cordero, former Hawaii QB who was there when Hawaii was good. Kyrie Robinson, I've heard of him. He's solid. Justin Lockhart, if I'm not mistaken, Nevada transfer when they had Carson Strong. Like, they have some guys. Elijah Cooks, another Nevada transfer. The fact that this offense could only muster up 21 against Portland State is just disappointing.
I agree.
That's really all I have to get at. Not many other teams just like disappointed me. Like, yeah, they won, but it's just the principle, basically.
Right. Congrats to everyone that had a week 1 victory. Everybody's title hopes are still alive. Crazy week of college football. Can't wait for week 2. Can't wait to waste more money. Clemson, Georgia Tech predictions.
Clemson by 35.
That's crazy because I was fixing to say 45-10, and you said by 35. So
Yeah, that's my take.
I'm going 45-10. I think the offense improves. I think Georgia Tech's just as bad as we think they are, and it won't be close. Wednesday we will have 2 episodes coming out: a recap of all sports and a predictions for college football week 2. A lot of college football shows coming out just solely because that is the most interesting thing out right now. MLB is wrapping up their season. We will get a lot of playoff stuff in here.
And we probably will touch on our NFL.
Yeah.
Because we have to put the NFL in there too.
That sports wrap-up will probably be MLB divisional races on Wednesday. It'll be NFL we can probably go ahead and predict some of the game or the NFL games because they start next Sunday too.
That's what I was saying.
Gotcha. U.S. Open will wrap up. We'll talk about everything that happened in that. Is it going to be over by then?
By
Wednesday?
Thursday?
Wednesday.
By Wednesday? No. It'll be the final, I believe.
Okay.
Or the final.
Okay. Well, we'll do that on Wednesday. Tune in, listen. We'll talk about your favorite team. Come in the stream. Tell us your favorite team. We'll give you a breakdown, whatever you need. And that's going to be it for me. Out of Bounds on social media. It's on every social media site. Out of Bounds Pods. Check out the YouTube. Subscribe. And go Tigers.